There are over 700 million searches every month on Perplexity, and today I'll show you a proven 4-step process for getting Perplexity to recommend your brand just like this. I'm Nathan Gotch, author of the upcoming book AI SEO for Dummies, and for over a decade I've led hundreds of successful search campaigns in the most competitive industries like health, legal, and SaaS. So let's begin with pillar number 1, which is to nail the SEO fundamentals. Start by making sure that your website is crawlable and indexable using a site colon search. And as you see from the example, this website is not indexing well. So the first step is to check the robots.txt file, and in seconds we discovered that crawlers are blocked. So it's simple. If your website isn't indexed in traditional search, you have basically zero chance of showing up in Perplexity. So the 1-second fix is to change disallow to allow, and also make sure you aren't blocking Perplexity bot. The next SEO fundamental is to confirm that the website is built in a language that search engines can understand, which is good old HTML. So if you're using WordPress or a popular content management system, this is usually the default. However, if you're using a no-code platform like Lovable or Replit, be careful because your website may be 100% JavaScript. And that means AI platforms like Perplexity don't render JavaScript well, if at all. But either way, it's not worth the risk, so just stick to HTML. Next, aim for a page loading speed less than 3 seconds because it impacts retrievability, UX, and conversions. One study showed that a 1-second delay can lead to a 7% decrease in conversions. So now it's time for pillar number 2, which is to master topic domination. So look at these two plumbing companies. One has 7 web pages while the other has 500. To no surprise, the bigger website gets 23,000 organic visitors per month, while the tiny website gets 0. Now this isn't to imply that quantity beats quality, but sheer volume can win even if quality is average. But let me show you a better approach that balances both. Start by picking one product or service like plumbing services in Clayton, Missouri. Now you'll start at the bottom of the funnel and build topic support. For example, you should build dedicated service pages for emergency plumbing, commercial plumbing, and kitchen plumbing services in Clayton, Missouri, to name a few. You can build these in minutes by entering a keyword phrase like emergency plumbing services in Clayton, Missouri into Rankability's content optimizer, entering Clayton for the location, and starting the optimizer. Then pick AI, select service page from the dropdown, enter unique selling propositions, social proof, and details about the company into the prompt window to start. And in minutes, you'll have a draft that's already optimized and ready for human edits. And if you're not sure what pages to build, you have 2 options. First, reverse engineer your competitors. Go to their navigation and build similar commercial pages that target unique service offerings. For example, on this plumbing business's website, I found basement, laundry room, and even outdoor plumbing services. And there's also a full water heater and sewer services cluster to build as well. Just in this broader category of plumbing, you'll be able to create at least 25 to 50 service pages. Option 2 is to use Perplexity to get some inspiration by using this prompt. Now keep in mind, you learn a lot about search demand when you publish more because you can go into Google Search Console and start seeing the queries that are popping up. If you see a query that's performing poorly, you should consider how to target it either on an existing page or spinning up a new dedicated page. So now the last content technique is something that most businesses hate, but it's incredibly effective for influencing Perplexity's recommendations. I call it competitor seeding. Instead of letting Perplexity come to its own conclusions, you're going to attempt to control the narrative by creating the exact pages Perplexity loves to cite for commercial decisions. So if you're brave enough, you'll get results like Geary, a member of Rankability Academy, who use this technique. It's simple. Create the following groups of content. Listicle content like top 10 best plumbing companies in Clayton, Missouri. Alternatives content like top 5 best Roto-Rooter alternatives in Clayton, Missouri. And comparison content like Roto-Rooter versus your brand in Clayton, Missouri. Then just repeat this for every single competitor in your area. And these are often low competition topics, but they're exactly what Perplexity pulls when it needs sources it can cite. So Perplexity citations are the proof layer, and if you show up in the right sources consistently, Perplexity starts to treat your brand like the safest answer. Which brings me to pillar number 3, blanket the citation set. So if you want Perplexity to recommend your brand for commercial queries, you need to show up on as many third-party pages as possible that Perplexity is already citing for those queries. And that's because Perplexity doesn't just think, it looks for sources, cites them, and then builds the answer. So your goal is to plant your brand on the pages Perplexity already trusts. Now start by creating at least 10 10 commercial prompts using Rankability's free AI search query generator. Now open Perplexity and run each of these prompts in separate threads. Next, go ahead and export or capture the citations from each answer using this custom bookmarklet that I'll have below the video. And at this point, you'll have at least 50 to 100 citations to filter through. Exclude home pages and competitors, and then prioritize listicles, directories, and media websites. These are your outreach targets. Next, open up Perplexity Spaces and use the following prompt to find more listicle opportunities. And then once that's done, I recommend using the spaces again to find your Dream 100 in any niche you're targeting with this prompt. Your Dream 100 is your best marketing and link opportunities in your industry. And these are typically the most popular sites in any industry, which means they're likely ranking well in traditional search and are very likely to show up in Perplexity's citation set. So treat these opportunities like gold, and you can invest in sponsored content on these websites because Perplexity doesn't care if a brand mention was earned or paid. If it's a credible page and it's crawlable, it can become a cited source. So now you're going to use Perplexity Spaces one more time to find YouTube influencers in your target niche with this prompt. YouTube ranks incredibly well in Google, and it also tends to show up as a cited source in AI answers, especially when the query has informational intent. So it's simple. Pay YouTubers to promote your brand. Go to their channel, click on more, and click view email address. Then repeat for your entire prospect list, but be careful because YouTube will block you if you do too many in one day. So just cap it at 20 per day. So once you have the list, send this template to every prospective YouTuber. Then use a simple calculation for prioritizing the opportunities based on their proposed brand integration pricing. Then work through your list with this simple template. All right, so now moving on to pillar number 4, which is forcing Perplexity to trust your brand. For Perplexity to recommend your brand, it needs consensus that you're legit. So the first step is to make it stupidly easy for Perplexity to know what your brand is all about. So use a tool like Whitespark to analyze your business's citations to ensure that NAP, which is name, address, and phone, is 100% accurate. Next, open up Perplexity Spaces and use the following prompt to find all of your owned properties and to identify entity association issues. To keep it simple, it needs to be clear what your business offers in 1 to 2 sentences. Next, become obsessed with generating reviews. For commercial queries, Perplexity is trying to reduce risk for the user, so third-party proof matters. And if you're local, prioritize your Google business profile, but don't stop there. Perplexity also pulls from third-party platforms depending on the niche. For example, Avo and Justia are prime targets for lawyers, while Angie is great for home services. So just use this prompt to find the best review platforms in your niche, then watch the next video to learn the best local SEO strategy right now.